Welcome back. This is Sandy with Sandy's Organized Chaos, and today we are going to be wrapping this 30-ounce skinny tumbler with vinyl. We all see it every time we go to the craft store. They have tons of those really cool vinyl squares, and you just really are nervous to maybe try to put it on a tumbler, or you've tried doing it before and you just weren't very successful. Well, I hope this technique today really helps that out. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more tutorials, tips, vlogs, all kinds of stuff I have coming your way. I will also make sure to put everything into the description below so that way you guys can go check out these products if you need to. All right, let's wake up, prep those tumblers, and slay all day. Let's do this. So the tumbler I am using today is by Hog, and this is a 30-ounce plus, which means it has a screw top lid. And as you guys know, these particular tumblers kind of taper. They're not full straight tumblers. There's just a little bit bigger at the top and a little bit smaller at the bottom, which makes wrapping it just a little bit harder. We are just applying the vinyl straight to the stainless steel on the tumbler today. So however you guys like to prep your tumbler beforehand, you can go ahead and do that. If you like to scuff it up a little bit, use your final sand, or just wipe it down with rubbing alcohol is completely fine. I just wipe mine down with rubbing alcohol to kind of get off any kind of factory oils. But other than that, that's pretty much all I'm going to do for this first step. So the next thing you want to do is have a starting point for your vinyl. So you just want a dash at the bottom and a little dash at the top that correlates with the dash at the bottom. So I'm just going to do that very quickly. So the vinyl sheet that I'm using today, I purchased at Michael's, and I just thought it was really cute, and I really wanted to use it on a tumbler. I've actually had it for a while, so now I get to use it. But I actually just cut about 2.5 inches off the top there, and I'm going to be using the rest of that entire sheet for this tumbler. All right, now that I have both my lines all lined up here, we can move on to the next part. Okay, so I went ahead and removed my vinyl completely off its backing, but I'm going to keep that backing off to the side so I can lay my vinyl down onto it as I need to. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the bottom part of my vinyl right onto the bottom line there. And then at the very top, you're going to notice I didn't line it up directly. It was about 1/2 inch away from the line at the top. For me, I found this has been very helpful with everything lining up completely in the back and not being kind of slant or crooked. So all I'm going to do here is just gently smooth out about 1 inch or 2 of my vinyl to begin with, and then I'm going to slide my vinyl under its backing onto my table, and then I'm going to grab my heat gun. Now, I just purchased my heat gun at Harbor Freight. There we go. I almost forgot where I got it. I purchased at Harbor Freight, and you want to use the lowest setting that you have on your heat gun. And all you want to do is sweep that back and forth onto the vinyl, and you'll notice it starts to droop just a little bit. And it just makes it so that way you can form it just a little bit better to your tumbler. So I'm just going to very quickly and swiftly back and forth across my vinyl, sweep that, make sure I set my heat gun off to the side where it's not going to burn anything or myself. And then I'm going to come back through and I'm just going to continue to press this vinyl down. And all I do is I stretch it and I push. So I'm going to do about 1 inch every time I go around and do this. I'm just going to do about 1 inch where I lift it and I stretch it, and then I come back through and just press everything out with my finger. Now, if you start to see any little wrinkles form, don't get worried. As you can see there, there's a little wrinkle at the top, but I'm just going to keep working with it. And every time I heat up another little inch of my vinyl, I continue to bring it up off my tumbler just a tad, stretch it, and those wrinkles go away. So now I'm just going to continue applying my heat to my vinyl, and as I go, pressing everything down. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this done real quick, and then I will show you how I finish it up in the back. All right, and she is all wrapped. Now I want to say that this part of the process took me about 20 to 30 minutes to wrap it. So that's really not that bad, and it has a really cute vinyl backing to it now. Okay, so I'm just gonna go around and smooth out any more little edges. I'm gonna hit it up one more time with my heat gun just to kind of smooth everything out just a little bit more. Now there were, I think, about 3 little bubbles under my vinyl, but I will show you guys how to take care of that in a second. But first thing I need to do is trim off this extra vinyl. So I couldn't find my roller, so I'm just gonna use the box that it came in for my roller to run my line completely down the back here. I'm just using a razor knife, something sharp that can go through the vinyl very smoothly without leaving any little edges. And I'm just gonna run my knife along here, and then I'm gonna pull that backing off, and then we'll continue on to the rest of it. Okay, once I am done with that, I'm also going to run a line around the top and the bottom just to make everything a little bit more even. Now there is a tool out there, the cup edging tool that they call it. It's by Wicked Shimmer Supply Company, and they make a really nice little edging tool that, you know, helps out with this process if you do this a lot with fabrics and stuff like that. So I'll make sure to attach that down below if you guys want to check that out. But I just had a razor knife, so that's all I used today. All right, let's work out some of those little bubbles that may have been trapped under your vinyl here. Now, as you've seen there, I just took my razor knife and I made a little hole in my vinyl, and then I just took my fingernail and I pressed all the air out of that hole right through that little bubble, and you can't even see that anything happened there. And that's all I'm gonna do with any little air pockets that might be stuck in that vinyl. Super easy, right? I know you guys got this. Okay, so the rest of this is completely up to you as to how you want the rest of it to look. Now, if you don't want the silver showing through at the top and the bottom, you can do like I'm doing. I'm gonna add some glitter to the top and bottom. You could add paint to the top and bottom, you know, no glitter. However you guys choose to do it is completely up to you. And that is the fun part of making these tumblers. It's all abstract. It's all a part of wherever your imagination takes you as far as any of this part goes. So I'm going to be using an opal glitter, which it's kind of transparent. You can kind of see through it. That's my glitter there that I'm using. And these are the 2 paints that I'm using. So since it's transparent, I just wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit. And I mixed up some yellow and pink to kind of go in there to kind of give it just a little bit of variation in color. Again, this is all stuff only you and your customer are really going to notice because it's hard to pick up on screen, but it's there. But I am just going to use my paint as glue for my glitter here. So I'm just going to go ahead and dab my paints on all randomly on the bottom and across the top, and then we'll be ready to put our first coat of epoxy onto it. Okay, now let's add that glitter to the bottom, and then again, I'm gonna do that to the top as well. And then I'm gonna let that sit and dry. This doesn't take too long to dry. These acrylic paints dry relatively fast. I believe I waited about 15-20 minutes before I moved on to putting the epoxy coat on. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up really quick. Okay, after that has dried, if you don't want your glitters to really shift around too much, you want to make sure that you come through and hit it up with your spray sealer here. That will really ensure that your glitters kind of stay in place. I didn't mind actually if some of my glitters kind of ran up into the center, so I didn't really load it up like I typically would. So I just kind of gave it a light coating. So some of those flakes still would find their way through the middle, but not all of them. So I like to use Alumilite's Amazing Clear Cast for my epoxy, but please feel free to use any type of sealer you enjoy using for your tumblers. Once my epoxy is applied, I'm going to hit it up really good with my torch here. Now you want to just move very quickly with your torch. You don't want to leave it in one spot. It might burn the epoxy, and that's no good for you or the tumbler. I let my tumbler cure for about 8 hours, and now we're ready to apply the decal. Now this decal here I made up myself. I just thought it was a really funny quote, and I couldn't find anything I liked to purchase, so I just went ahead and made it myself. And doing it myself also is nice because then if a customer asks to have their name put onto it, you can match the decal in the front. Now I just went ahead and sanded all my edges and everything like that, and I placed my lid back onto it. Since it's a screw top, I want to make sure that the decal, it will be in the front, and the sipping part that people will sip out of will be in the back. So that will be the back, and the front, you'll see here, will be where the lid pops up, and that will be the front. Okay, now after I apply my decal, I'm going to be doing just a little bit of painting on this as well. I just kind of had that feeling, it just reminded me of kind of a retro flamingo feel, so I kind of wanted to add just some touches of paint to it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this vinyl put on, and I'll show you guys what else I did to finish up this tumbler. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take those two same paints that I used to apply my glitter with. I'm going to squirt those onto my dish here, and then I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to very abstractly make lines on my tumbler, and I'll show you here in a second. I have a little dish of water. I have my little paintbrush here that the kids actually didn't steal and take, and I still had it. But as you can see here, I'm just very lightly dry brushing some of that iridescent paint right onto the tumbler. I'm going to go ahead and do that pink all the way around, and then I will get started onto the yellow. Okay, same thing as the pink. I'm going to go ahead and rinse my brush off, dry it off really well. Then I'm going to take my yellow and just run it right next to where I did my pink lines, almost like a highlight onto the pink. Again, this is all wherever your imagination takes you. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to help you kind of just relax at the end of the day. This isn't supposed to be anything stressful. Just let it take you where it wants to take you. You are doing an amazing job, and your walking artwork is absolutely beautiful. Okay, after I'm all done adding all these little extra touches here, I went ahead and I let that dry for about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll apply another coat of epoxy. Now I'm going to apply this coat of epoxy just like I always do. I'm going to apply this coat, hit it up really good with my torch, place it onto my turner for about 8 hours, and then apply my final coat of epoxy, and then let that cure for up to 7 days before I take my first sip out of it. Whether you take this design and duplicate it as is, or you take it and let it inspire you to create something completely your own, I hope that you guys had a lot of fun watching this tutorial today. Again, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.